for everybody to come over. You know, Mercapada Nusa Dua. This is where IESF is being held, and it's an offline event that's going to go all the way till the 11th of December. So there's still a lot of days if you guys want to come to visit. Here, though, we are going to jump into the draft for game number 2. Cambodia on the blue side. This time, Indonesia. Oh, man, you can see it. Phobia's ban. It's a setup for the Joy. Indonesia bans the Joy instantly. All right. You could see. You can see. Cambodia knows how to counter it, knows how to play it. Just take it out, man.
Interesting options in Cambodia. They don't want to let Taz have his signature hero as well, so the Fanny will be banned away. And now you're wondering, what is the approach? Because Indonesia tried that front-to-back, that team-fight approach. It wasn't working so well, and maybe they just are suited right now to go for something a lot more aggressive. A bit more of a dive comp, because we saw that Psychots, right, in the right composition with that Yuzong. Moving forward, he seems to be in a lot more control compared to this more defensive style. So we'll have to see. Diggy has been banned out, so they have the chance to also have that heavy crowd control, heavy-handed approach. But for Cambodia right now, I think they might be looking towards that Kaja once again. Very flexible with the wave clear, with the pickoff potential as well.
Fanny ban coming in from Cambodia. Still, though, even after winning Game 1, they are respecting Indonesia's prio picks, comfort picks. The Diggy will be banned out. Similarly to game number 1 by Indonesia. Leomord is still up for grabs, but the 1-1 now is actually going to be banned out by Cambodia, who has the first pick on the blue side. Technically forcing Indonesia to choose between the the Kaja or the Valentina.
Or the Martis, or
Leomord.
All the heroes available right now.
But
It's
I think
all
for
so
first pick
situational.
prio, it's mostly still just Valentina Kaja. For this case, because of all the other heroes banned.
I must say, again, with the players being so mechanically gifted, I think having that suppression is just so much more valuable than the other aspects, the other attributes available from these other heroes. So I think I agree, Valentina and Kaja will be important, but will Indonesia ban one of these options, or will they let both open so they can pick one for themselves? It's going to be the Kaja banned out, so Cambodia, no Joy.
No Joy, no Kaja, no Diggy. Valentina still in the fray for them to pick up. If it's not the Valentina, though, Leomord, Martis. I think right now, Leomord. Ooh, Leomord. I was expecting the Valentina, actually, to be picked up here, but it does seem like Cambodia wants to put Lutu on, to put this Leomord on Lutu in the jungle.
For Indonesia, I guess it will be that Valentina. It really makes sense. No, going up against a Leomord, fighters like this, Valentina has a lot of utility and damage available as well. And we keep talking about this, but wave control, wave pressure. Indonesia were able to actually abuse it so much in game number 1. Unfortunately, maybe not enough, maybe they didn't play the late game team fights correct, but the early game we can see that Indonesia were the ones aggressing, were the ones having momentum. So I think they will have a lot of emphasis in that wave clear department as well. Beatrix can be an option, Valentina as well.
Beatrix Benedetta certainly can be the option to go for here. Valentina, like we mentioned earlier. But Indonesia, usually, if we take a look at their previous games, the Lolita, the Benedetta.
Wow, okay.
Oh, okay, so it's a different approach, yeah. Usually we see the Fanny, the Kaja, the Beatrix always being the prio for Indonesia, but because a lot of those heroes were banned out, they decide to go for the Yuzong, a signature pick for Psychots in this tournament so far. Cambodia picking up the Angela with no hesitation. They want to try to play around this Leomord, and honestly, yeah, Angela works, especially with that new Aspirant skin, Arashi.
It's a very, very cool skin. And we've seen, I think, other teams, other countries ban this Angela against Cambodia. So maybe this is exactly what we've been missing out on from Cambodia. We'll have to see, though. Indonesia, understanding that OP is usually just very oppressive, pun fully intended. They go for Psychots on the Yuzong, which has been a very good solution to these hyper carries in the back line. They still go for that Yi for the utility. And now Cambodia with the Cult Altar, though. That means that they're going to be clumping up quite a bit. Maybe Indonesia can set up for some kind of combo.
Fairness, Angela, Leomord, very heavy dive comp here, and Indonesia need to pick up a hero that can really withstand this kind of dive or can counter the dive, right? The Fredrin becomes a solid option here, but we've already seen the Yuzong picked up earlier on
jungle?
I've never seen Taz play the Fredrin in the jungle, but the Akai is another solid option, another good disengage. We've seen Taz play that one in the second game against Philippines, and it will be locked in for Indonesia. That's the Akai in the jungle, but it can also technically still be flexed into the roaming position.
Ooh, Roma Akai though against an Angela. Obviously, Cambodia, I think they will rely more on the laners to be aggressive and have the Angela as more of a support, so Indonesia can get more value, more aggression in the early game. But now we're down to the second banning phase. What will Indonesia try and ban away? Because crowd control is definitely necessary for Cambodia to make this composition happen. The Lapu Lapu is banned away. We saw that Boom was able to use it to maximum effect, enabling Opie, giving him a lot of space in those big team fights. And then for Cambodia, they themselves would want to try and deny perhaps the DPS that can melt through their very tanky composition.
Indonesia are setting themselves up pretty well with the bans here. They noticed that, again, Cambodia really likes to play around these dive-centric compositions. Taking away the Lapu is a solid option, but that's the Atlas ban as well from Cambodia. Just again, trying to nullify the threat that Dreams has. We all know on these crazy, flashy heroes, Dreams really likes to pop off. But right now, honestly, for the roaming position, for the roamer, I'd actually like, if I'm Indonesia right now, I think I'm hovering over the Mathilda, right? You need a little bit more utility. It's an amazing hero with utility. It can also be synergized well. It actually synergizes well with the Akai as well, right? You can pin people down with the help of the Circling Eagle when you are in that heavy spin position, when you have that ability active.
Well, I wonder if the Kadita is going to be banned away, because for Cambodia, I think it's a very solid option, but of course, already heroes in that role, so it won't be there. And I don't know if Indonesia will be willing to use it, maybe defensively. They ban away that Maca though, and Franco is the ban from Cambodia. I find it quite peculiar, honestly, the Franco ban, because I think Indonesia with the Franco is going to be a pretty weird composition, right? You're hooking people closer to your team when you want to get away from them. Maybe they're afraid of that buff denial, you know, the early game pickoffs for Indonesia to start snowballing. But now we're down to the final 4 picks for both these teams. Indonesia for sure will require some DPS.
I think it's also because of just that suppression that he has in the Bloody Hunt. Becomes such a good cover peel utility tool for Indonesia. But now with the banning session done in both the first phase and the second phase, Indonesia will look to go for the first pick, which is still going to be that Melissa. This time, I actually like this pick a bit better than last time, right? You're up against a Leo Moore. The go away can have a little bit more use here, especially with the peel already there, ready with the Akai.
Not to mention there's Psychots on the Yutsong as well. The Furious Dive can be used defensively if it's necessary, so we'll have to see. I think we have to wait on that final pick. Is it going to be more aggression, more defensive? But for Cambodia right now, they require Golden of their own. It might be an Irithel. Works well with the dive nature, the movement speed forward from Cambodia. And if it takes high loss as well, that is a big slow, a big front line, a solid stun as well. So moving with speed here from Cambodia, maybe relying a bit on the Angela slow as well to try and catch the members of Indonesia off guard.
Well, you know, we've always asked how to counter the utility from Yves, maybe with more movement speed, right? There's a lot of sprints there. With the Irithel being so mobile, there's a Leomord, a Faramis as well, and the Hylos. This is a movement speed composition. Indonesia might actually find it very difficult to lock people down with this kind of composition. They're going to lean heavily on, again, that Petrify from Psychots. But we saw, even in game number 1, with the Benedetta Petrify, Cambodia splits up really well before that flank to prevent that from happening. Indonesia with the final pick here, they need a
Roamer. Unless the Akai goes into that roaming position, which is, you know, can work, but not really. And we mentioned the Kadita. Dreams on this Kadita is very, very dangerous, but we'll have to see. It's a mixed bag from Indonesia. Some kite back, some engage, some pick off, some team fight. Whereas for Cambodia, it's full metal, pedal to the metal. They want to go all the way in and take out Indonesia.
Oh, man. Indonesia with the Kadita, they're basically trying to limit that move speed. They're trying to limit that mobility from Cambodia with another Petrify. Another CC lock hero that we just mentioned earlier. That's basically the tools for Indonesia to win. That's their win condition. If they can actually burst someone down, petrify them, stun them up for the rest of the members to follow up, it's going to be a good day, a good game for Indonesia. But if Cambodia somehow are able to maneuver around that or to split up so that only one member or at most two of the front lines gets caught in the petrify, then honestly, Cambodia has a chance to actually 2-0 Indonesia. I think it comes down again to the execution this time.
I think having a combination of the Yuzong and the Kadira, we've seen something similar from Indonesia when they're up against a very solid gold laner. Someone to dive and threaten the gold laner, and someone to just completely annihilate him with like an assassin pick. So I think Kadira can serve that purpose, but now we're straight back into the Land of Dawn, Mirko.
Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're jumping into the Land of Dawn, where Indonesia is trying to equalize, and Cambodia are trying to secure the grand final position, with Dreams already very aggressively moving into the enemy jungle, taking a whole lot of damage here as Danger rotates as well. It's first blood before the first minute of the game. Cambodia are on fire.
Bit of a disaster trying to get information on a Kadita. Very, very squishy. Yes, you have the blessing of the ocean, but you need to survive for that to actually work out. And by the way, speaking of security, 3 purifies on the side of Cambodia.
Man.
They are not having any crowd control issues whatsoever. They want to be able to do whatever they want, and they have enough mobility to make that happen without those sprints. So the purifies will mean that Indonesia needs to be very wise in how they want to use these skills.
Oh, T still able to get out. Going to be taken down by Hijume. That's a trade back on the board. Both the roamers already falling here early in the game. But I do feel like, again, in terms of that mid-control, this Yves with the Kadita will definitely have a bit of an edge, clearing out the waves a bit faster to rotate and to provide more help across the side lanes.
If they roam S3 along with Taz on the Akai, they actually have more advantage, but look at this dive!
Oh, Lutsu too aggressive! Gonna be taken down, punished, and that's the real world manipulation as well. A very aggressive play from Cambodia, but this time it might be too aggressive as Taz jumps in with a heavy spin, instantly knowing where Boom is. The Furious dive as well from Psychons to pick up the kill and to take the lead in game 2.
They have the pressure, and now they can go for the turtle, because for Cambodia, this Faramis can save some of their members from the big burst damage, but hang on, as we say that though, that is Deja picking up a kill onto Psychots. Definitely not what Indonesia wants, but there we go. Turtle secured for Indonesia in minute number 2.
It's still just a very slow game now that the action has happened early on, Arashi. Both teams will be waiting for the neutral objectives. They don't really want to go for anything too crazy, but just as I say it, Lutsu will be caught for the second time in this game. And this time it's by Dreams, who's taking it a bit personally, that first kill. And you can see as well, Brand's just having a good time on that Melissa against the Irith though. Breath of Ocean popped in, OP going to be sandwiched by Indonesia. The real world manipulation as well, forcing OP to ultimate, to use that ultimate to get out of the range. It's still OP who can survive, who can still get out, but look at the waves. Very disadvantageous for Cambodia. It's pushing in towards Indonesia, and Brands is just letting it push.
Wave clear advantage for Indonesia and fight skirmish advantage for Cambodia, unless, as we talked about, Dreams can actually start having that pick-off gameplay. He was able to delete Lutsu, who is a fighter in the early game, so that definitely is not what Cambodia wants. They are grouping at the bottom side though. There might be a big fight building up here, as they're just waiting there, trying to counter-engage on the possible dive towards OP. This is what you come to expect. They want to make sure that OP does not get shut down. He is the main win condition.
But here, so far, Brands has been able to find a whole lot of success in the lane, getting a whole lot of gold. And with the help of Hijume right here, with that real world manipulation constantly, it's just so difficult. And you can see as well the rotations from the XP laner, opting to actually leave that XP lane. Dream spotted out by T, and Psychots even cancelled that recall. Got cancelled by T. Hylos having a better time in that XP lane again, just soaking in as much gold as possible, while Taz is actually going to be the one gifted the job to handle or to match up against that Hylos.
Brands now has secured the bulk of that, well, almost the whole thing, the whole turret gold, and with that momentum, Indonesia rotates to the top side at the opportune moment, going for the turtle, but there might be a fight here because they are backing away.
Oh, that's a very good engage again by Dreams. Lutu taken off, and that's Taz who secures the turtle.
Oh.
Deja all alone pops the Cold Altar to survive, but a pin down from Taz is there. Deja with the Purify still able to get out with the real world inflation, will be able to lock him down for the kill to be handed over to Hijume.
The pickoff game from Dreams, man, this is what we've come to expect. It's dangerous and it needs to be respected, but Brands will be taken out. Opie is actually getting a bit more momentum back here, and Indonesia might want to just try and funnel a bit more attention because it's going well so far. Why stop here?
Yeah, 3,000 gold lead already. Taz also was able to steal away the purple buff. Now, Lutu is 2 levels behind of Taz on a hero that you would really optimally want to go to snowball early on, right? You want to get as much as possible on this Leomord. And if you get to that later stage, you are going to fall off pretty badly, actually.
Well, Dreams right now, though, already having that Clock of Destiny scaling towards that late game. Hijume with the Ice Queen's Wand will mean that for Cambodia, escape is going to be a very difficult situation as Opie again is the target.
So much damage to the pin as well. The Purify comes in to save Opie for a bit with a hard guard, but he is going to be taken down by Brands with the dolls. Deja with the Cold Altar getting out. Brands is securing that tier 1 down below and moving back. Indonesia now invading the enemy jungle, and Lutu has no say whatsoever to what's happening in his jungle. Taz is now 3 levels ahead. Psychots is zoning Lutu away, has a Black Dragon form to get out as Taz jumps in, gets the damage down as Dreams, looks for the follow-up now. Tier 1 going to be taken down in the mid lane. Boom, still having the glorious pathway, can get out. And Indonesia decides to play the disciplined game this time, backing off, not overextending as they did in game 1.
If Indonesia maintains this discipline and plays with that vision, they have so many tools to start off that pick-off gameplay. And for now, at least until later on in the game, the members from Cambodia are going to be way too squishy to push into a Yves, a Kadita, as well as a Yu Zhong. This early game is very strong from Indonesia, and they are completely abusing it to go for the purple buff, it seems, right now, because Bloom is taken very low with the real manipulation, almost taken out, flickers away, and I think Indonesia will be able to secure this purple buff. That's a sad day for Lutu on the Cambodian side.
The gold lead is just building again, slowly but surely, towards Indonesia as they are suffocating Lutu, especially in this jungle. But the entire Cambodian team is just not having a good time here in the first 7 minutes. You know, Indonesia came back from a similar kind of position here. You can already see again that ambush over Lutu, trying to find some compensation. Dreams with the conceal, still able to jump away. Dreams finally taken down with the Phantom Steed by Lutu. Psychots might be next, brought back to the team. Has the Furious Dive, now going to be caught still. Serve staining for a bit, but Lutu finds that double kill, putting them on the board. And finally, Lutu has found 2 kills here. Finally found some compensation, a way to turn the tides back around.
Gold difference just swinging back here. It was up to 6.5k, I believe. Now down to 5k, more or less. But this is what we talked about for Indonesia. They have the chance to make the plays happen, but the longer it goes, the more it goes towards the mid-game. They need to understand that Cambodia will start grouping up with each other, and they need to make plays as 5 as a top side, though Brands make a play.
Wow, Brands instantly just jumps in. 2v1, doesn't even need the help of Taz. A good read by Brands, and a very good, just honestly, instinct by him, knowing exactly the limits of Melissa and how much he can take. Pops that go away perfectly as Lutu jumps in to knock him back, and Deja's gonna be caught as well here. Pops the Cold Altar for safety, but will just lose that HP bar instantly. With the rough waves popped in and the purple buff targeted, Indonesia have taken the lead back into their hands. That grasp is as strong as ever.
Brands was able to make that play happen and swing momentum back. He is, by the way, 3 levels. Well, not two now, but he was earlier 3 levels ahead of OP, and that shows again the game plan of the Indonesians. Destroy that gold lane, let Brands carry, and shot down OP in one fell swoop. It's working very well so far, but we've seen that Cambodia has been able to come back from the situation. They need to stay disciplined and make sure that they don't leave any window available for Cambodia to get some foot back into the game. And now with that lord taken away, they go straight back into the jungle looking for more victims to pick off.
Here, Indonesia again opening up the side of the map here. Boom going to be caught, but Furious Dive has the glorious pathway to escape. That real world manipulation almost took him down, but Indonesia will just pull back. Again, they got the lore. They don't need to go for anything too aggressive. Given the orange buff over the brands and securing just that lead, backing off, playing it disciplined.
We talked about having different tools of engaging, by the way. Furious Dive Petrify, Breath of the Ocean Petrify, and the Heavy Spin. So many things for the members of Cambodia to watch out for, especially if you're OP. You know that the Indonesians has their eyes on you, and at every moment, someone might come up from the sides. It could be the Kadira, it could be the Akai, the Yuzong, or even that real world manipulation to just screw over your chances of having that impact in those team fight, and Indonesia is absolutely abusing it.
Taz finding a good pin down onto Boom with the help of the real world manipulation, but the call altar is placed down there, only for him to get silenced as that's OP again in the back line. It's taken so low, but a passive from Psychods. Brands picks up a mega kill, and it's a 2-4-0. Indonesia in that skirmish finding everything they need to look for the end right now. Deja looking for it. OP going to be taken very low, taken down by Taz as he jumps forward with Retribution as well. T bursted down, and the base is wide open in 10 minutes. Indonesia equalize.
Wow. All the fighters